Good morning, students of St. John the Apostle School. My name is freeholder Chris Hudak. Beginning in January, I will be part of the Union County Board of Commissioners. That's a really long title, but what I do is represent all of the people of Union County. County commissioners pass laws, we approve a budget, and support many of the programs you and your family utilize here in Union County to enjoy life in many different ways. Chances are you've ridden your bike in Rahway River Park, visited the skate park at Esposito Farm. Maybe you've been to a county hayride or a county festival, skated at the Warnaco Ice Rink, or visited the Trailside Museum. These are all programs that are supported by county government. County government does many other things. We pave roads, lots of them. We help people get jobs. We fund the Union County Vocational High School, where I know many of you have brothers and sisters who attend. Also, we fund Union County College. And during this pandemic, with so many of our neighbors affected in a bad way by COVID-19, we're helping them too. And that's my job. But Union County has other responsibilities. And one of the most important is it handles elections for all the voters here in the county. Now, that's the time of year when citizens who are 18 years or older get to decide who they want to put in charge of the government to serve them. And as we all know, we just had a really big election. This year, your parents, grandparents, neighbors, or even older siblings may have had the opportunity to vote for the President of the United States. But they also had the opportunity to vote for the United States Senator for New Jersey, or a member of the House of Representatives. Those are individuals who go to Washington, D.C., and they represent us there. They also had the chance to vote for a Union County Sheriff. And that's someone who is the chief law enforcement officer in Union County, and their job is to keep us safe. There's also the opportunity to vote for people at the local level, like county commissioner, or for the mayor, or for town council, or for the school board. And I almost forgot, there was one other job on the ballot this year, and many of your family's members may have voted for that person as well. And that's the Union County Clerk. The county clerk is a special job in county government that has many different responsibilities, but its most important responsibility is to make sure that our elections are safe, secure, simple to understand, easy to take part in, and that's so everyone who votes has their vote counted. And it's a hard job, especially now with COVID-19. So here to discuss how Union County elections work is my good friend and colleague and our Union County Clerk, Joanne Rajapi.
The governor ordered mail-in ballots to all active registered Democrats and Republicans because of the pandemic. That's more than 200,000 in Union County. Unaffiliated voters got applications to declare their affiliation. 3,000 missed the deadline to return their applications to get a ballot. But the clerk, Joanne Rajapi, contacted them to come to her office or to go to the polls to get a paper provisional ballot.
Joanne, does the law obligate you to contact folks who mail in their application late?
No, it does not. However, I don't want anyone to feel disenfranchised. We believe that they took the time to fill out the application. They wanted to vote. We should give them every opportunity to vote.
The governor mandated each county have at least half its polls open to accommodate those with disabilities and voting by provisional ballot.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joanne Rajapi. I'm the Union County Clerk, and I'm delighted to be here to talk to you about elections. We elect people to represent us in government and to make laws and policies. Every elected position has a term of office, sometimes 2 or 3 years, often 4 years, maybe 5 years, and in the case of the U.S. Senate, 6 years. In New Jersey, we have an election every year, and within that year, there are 2 elections. The first is the primary election, which usually occurs in June. It's where Democratic voters and Republican voters vote for the candidate of their party. The candidate who gets the most votes for a position is the candidate who will be running in the general election in November. And in November, any registered voter can vote. You don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican. To be a voter in New Jersey, you need to register to vote. You need to be 18. And we make it easy in New Jersey. You can do that registration online, or you can just fill out a form. Voting really is the single most important thing you can do to protect our country and to keep democracy vital. As a responsible citizen, you will be asked to learn about the candidates and then to vote for the candidate who you think is the best. Now, I'm an elected constitutional officer. That means that my duties and responsibilities are specified in the New Jersey Constitution. I was just reelected this November for another term, and my term of office is 5 years. My office is responsible for many different things, including elections. So what we do is we design the ballots for election, both the primary and general ballot, the machine ballot, and the vote by mail ballot, as well as something called provisional ballots. And as you know, you can vote two ways on election day. You can go to a polling place in your neighborhood and vote on a machine, or you might choose to vote weeks ahead by mail. It's called a vote by mail ballot. So this year, because of the pandemic, every New Jersey voter received a vote by mail ballot in the mail. And here's what it looked like. They received an envelope that clearly said official mail-in ballot. And I want to show you what a ballot looks like. It looks like this. This is the general election ballot for this past November. On the far left side are the offices for people running. And at the very top of the ticket this year was the President of the United States. So the president appears in one of these columns. The column position is chosen randomly. I do what's called a blind draw. All the names of the candidates go into a hat, and I don't look at them, and I pull them out. And the first one goes on column A, then column B, then column C, D, etc. So we have the president who ran first, and we also had U.S. Senate running. And then we had House of Representatives, part of the Congress. Congress is made up, of course, of the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. Both of those positions were on the ballot this year. So you have a federal election, and then you have a county election, yes. And the county election this year was for the sheriff and the county clerk, and then the freeholders, 3 freeholders were running, and then a local election, a council race at the bottom. And at the very, very bottom of the ballot is the Board of Education. For every town has a Board of Education, and in most of our towns, we elect the people who serve on that. And you'll see at the very bottom, it says vote both sides. So if you turn the ballot over, there are questions which we call referendum on the back. These are state questions that people vote on, and if they win, if the questions get a majority of yes, then they go into effect. So they're questions on different things. One question this year was about veterans, and that's it. So then you fold it up, and in the envelope you received was another envelope called a certificate envelope. And this is probably the most important way we keep our ballots secret, because the ballot is secret. When you fill it out, no one else knows about it. You put it in this envelope like this. You seal the envelope, you put down the flap, and then you fill out this information. It's usually very simple. It's just your name and address and a signature. So when this ballot is opened, when it goes back to the Board of Elections, they scan this part and then they detach this part. There's a perforation here, so you can detach it. And they detach it, so your ballot, they don't know when they open your ballot who voted. There's no way to know. And that's because we believe in the secrecy of the ballot. So when you do this, after you fill this in, you put it in the return envelope and you mail it. And you're done. And it's very easy, and people like to do it. And this year, because of the pandemic, we had a very high percentage of these ballots coming back. So the job of the Board of Elections, which is a partner to me, is to open these and to scan them and to tally them up. They give me the results, and then I put them together and I do what is called a certification of the election. That's when it becomes official. It took a good 3 weeks this year in November to certify the election because there were so many ballots to read. And that's a good thing. We want people to vote. We want people to have their voice heard. So that's it, boys and girls. It's real easy to vote. We want you to vote when you grow up, and ask your parents questions about it because we know they vote, and it's a good thing to do. So thank you for allowing me to come into your classroom today, and stay well.
What do you think of this whole process?
If you come here. There is not crowded. It's easy. Everything is good.
Susan Poehler voted by paper provisional ballot, which election officials say takes 4 times longer to process than a mail-in ballot. That, combined with mail-in ballots can be received up to a week after today, means some winners may not be known on election night.
It's going to be something that I think will take some number of days to really give this the postmortem that it needs.
Elections Board Administrator Nicole Dorado says she doubled the size of her staff and added a 3rd tabulator. Each can scan up to 300 ballots a minute. Ballots must be postmarked by today or in the possession of the county clerk by the time the polls close in this pandemic-delayed primary.
So we're expecting and prepared for between 80 and 100,000 vote-by-mail ballots.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nicole Dorado, and I'm the administrator at the Union County Board of Elections. Our office is responsible for voter registration, and we are responsible for Election Day and receiving vote-by-mail ballots. So simply put, our office is responsible for making sure that your parents, friends, family can vote, and every person has their voice heard pursuant to the laws in the United States Constitution and the New Jersey Constitution. We make sure that votes are counted and that everyone knows that their vote matters. As the administrator, I lead a team of 25 full-time employees. And in this election, we had over 70 employees working to effectuate an all vote by mail election. So typically, we would have 431 voting machines in 166 polling places to accommodate our voting electorate of over 347,000 voters. But this year, because of COVID-19, everyone was provided a vote-by-mail paper ballot. And just as everything else that we have dealt with this year has changed, so has elections. So instead of going to their polling place, your parents and their aunts and uncles and grandparents may very well have just sat at their kitchen table and voted their vote-by-mail ballot. So when a voter votes a vote-by-mail or a paper ballot, how does it get counted, right? So this year, a ballot comes into our office and we always check the voter's signature. Our office is one of the first lines of defense against voter fraud. So a signature comparison is an important way for us to know that the voter is voting their own ballot and not that somebody else is voting it for them. Make sure that there's no cheating in elections. That's very, very important. If the signature does not match, we notify the voter, and they do have time to come to us and to prove that it was in fact them who voted their ballot. So once the ballot gets checked, we go through a special process to count their ballots. They get run through vote tabulating machines, which can tabulate up to 300 ballots a minute. But it's important to know that we do ensure that the voter's anonymity is intact throughout the entire process. So even though the voter has to sign a certification that they in fact completed their own ballot, that certification is removed and separated from the ballot. ballot goes one way, the cert goes the other way. So at no point in the process will we be able to match up a voter to their ballot. Voter anonymity and secret balloting is part of the cornerstones of our democracy and our voting system. So that is something that we do here. You can see behind me, this is our tallying center. This is the location that we used to tally our vote by mail ballots because we were able to socially distance over 60 employees simultaneously who were hired to help us count over 252,000 paper ballots. This is amazing. We saw just over 70% turnout in this presidential election. And I believe a lot of that has to do with the ease of voting, the fact that we sent a ballot directly to the voter, making it that much easier for the voter to cast their vote. So that is essentially the process here in terms of tallying votes. They go through the machines, the ones that can't go through the machines, whether they're ripped or the voter wrote in their own choice for a candidate, those get hand counted. So we have teams, bipartisan teams. So bipartisan is a Republican and a Democrat, or a Republican and an independent, and a Democrat and an independent. We have bipartisan teams as a checks and balance to make sure that the votes are being recorded truthfully when they do have to be hand counted. And I know there's a lot of talk about hacking in elections. And I can tell you that our staff, first of all, we go through background checks. Anybody that touches the machines or the servers have all been cleared in that respect. They go through special training on the machines. And none of our machines, our servers, our computers are connected to the internet whatsoever. So there is no outside influence in the machines or in the election. So that is just, something that's been out there. It's been alleged, and I want you to know that it's not possible in Union County. So we finished up today, 15 days after Election Day, we finished counting our ballots. Typically, we would be done on election night, and we would know who our winners were on election night. But as I said, this year is the anomaly with the number of votes we had to cast. And it took us every bit of 25 days to prep and count our ballots. This year, the governor allowed us to start prepping and counting 10 days before Election Day. So we used every single minute of the last 25 days to prep and make sure that every single vote that was cast, that was eligible to be counted, was counted. Everyone in my office is passionate about what we do. We are dedicated and we are passionate about making sure that democracy works, that everybody's vote counts, and that at the end of the day, we can say we ran a fair, transparent, and successful election. Feel free to reach out to us with questions. If COVID is doing better next year and we're all in a better place, I'd love to come out and demonstrate how our new voting machines work. So keep that in mind for next year. But for now, I hope you and your families stay well and stay safe and enjoy the holidays. Thank you.
As of today in Union County, mail-in ballots top 60,000, with scores more in mail trays and collected from drop-off boxes.
And I'm not one of the bigger counties, but we are all going through this. It is all exponentially more than we've ever dealt with before.
The board can count mail-in ballots received by the 15th. After that, it can begin counting thousands of paper provisional ballots of those who insisted on voting in person on a day when only half the polling stations were open. Before ballots reach the tabulators, they go to employees. One group opens the mail and removes the certification tab that identifies the voter. Another opens the ballot envelope and, like Ethel and Grimsley, pulls out the ballot and puts them all in separate stacks. A routine repeated thousands of times, but requires workers catch potential flaws.
Hello, my name is Anita McNamara. I had the privilege of working with the Union County Board of Elections during this last election period. It's very important to understand how each ballot is handled. I think when people vote on the machine, they just assume it's all computerized and it's tallied. But even during a normal election, many people vote on paper as absentee ballots. It's very important that each step of this process be known and understood so that the voter's identity is verified, but also so that the anonymity of their vote is protected. The Board of Elections does not know how an individual votes. They know who votes and they make sure that that person is a registered voter, but they do not associate the name with the contents of the ballot envelope. That is protected. This process has been conducted with the utmost care and integrity, with many checks and balances, and it has given me a great deal of respect for the Board of Elections, which, by the way, works all year long, not just at election time, and is a very, very busy place. I also think it's very important for people to remember that many of the people who work for the Board of Elections in any area are your friends and neighbors. Many of them are seasonal employees brought in just to work the polls during election or to work in the office. And indeed, the full-time employees also come right from this community. They have a vested interest in maintaining the security and integrity of the office, and they live and work right beside you. They are not strangers, and they are perfectly worthy of your trust because you know them. And what is more, you also can be a poll worker, you can volunteer, you can contact them, you can get in the game. If you're really that interested and you want to see the process up close, there are opportunities, and I encourage people to get involved with local government.